I have another cool title to present. When I was browsing through the screenshot of this game, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I bought the game because I like pixel art, and I like the graphics here. After 5 hours of playing, I'm still hooked. I'm Uncle Bob and I invite you to watch my review. The game was released on September 1, so it's quite new with a cool concept. Nothing revolutionary or groundbreaking happened here, but I felt a tiny breath of fresh air. We start with our soldier, who is naked and joyful. After smearing the first blob, a chest with 3 items appears, but we can only take one with us. This is how we acquire equipment, put it on, our stats increase, and we move on to the next fight, where we have more blobs to destroy, and the cycle repeats. That's how we can describe this game in one sentence. Our goal is to defeat some kind of evil monster of monsters. To get to it, we have to conquer 3 lands. The difficulty level increases quickly, and we have to choose our equipment carefully. The game is very difficult. There are opponents who can kill us with a single attack, so we need to have a well-built defense. At the start we have 50 health points and 10 armor points. When we take damage from an opponent, our armor decreases first, followed by our health. After moving to a new field, our armor is restored, but our health is not. So even if we lose only a few health points in each fight, we won't get very far. That's why we have to focus heavily on defense and limit the loss of our points. To survive longer we have several options, the most basic of which are increasing armor, dodging or blocking, mainly with a shield. But there are additional ways to save us from death. We can seek salvation in stuns, counters, additional attacks and health regeneration. There are a lot of stats, which results in many possible tactics to master. Items are divided into rarity levels that are already well known in games, so we have green, blue, purple and red equipment. In addition, we can upgrade each item, except for red ones, which are already packed like a grandchild leaving grandma's house after having dinner. When we have 2 identical pieces of equipment, we can combine them and increase their stats, which is especially useful because sometimes nothing interesting comes out of the chests. Every few screens we move on to a scene without monsters, but with something that can help us on our journey. We can meet a blacksmith who will forge 3 items into something more rare. There is also a little man who gives us potions, a better chest with better items, or a book from which we learn 1 passive skill. The skills in the tree are partially random, which means that there is a pool of skills from which skills are randomly selected for each new journey. We can increase this pool by gaining character levels, and each character has their own sets of skills. Sometimes we'll be faced with a choice between something insignificant, but there are also skills on which we can base our entire build, such as attacking all opponents at once, and combining this with stuns means that opponents can rarely break through our armor, not to mention doing any damage. The equipment we find is grouped into sets. If we manage to collect 2, 4 or more pieces from a given set, we receive significant bonuses to our stats. This is important because the benefits are really helpful, and it is a good idea to focus on collecting at least 1 set. Without it, we will not be able to raise our stats to a satisfying level. After completing all the maps and defeating the arch monster of our monsters, we unlock corruption levels, which add new items to our journey, allowing us to create slightly different tactics, but also adding some difficulty. 1 attempt takes around 20 minutes, depending on how far we get. In 5 hours of play I managed to complete all stages only twice. The first time I succeeded was when I built a character to attack everyone and stun them. Then on my next attempts I wanted to focus on dodging and not caring about armor, but unfortunately without success. I don't know if I couldn't figure out an effective build in this style, or if it's a matter of a game being unbalanced, cause despite everything, I always took some kind of hit, slowly depleting my health. The conclusion I have come to is that regardless of your build, you need to beef up your armor at least a little bit to be able to withstand at least 2 or 3 hits. The next time I succeeded, completing all the levels and defeating the arch enemy. My character's defense was based on dodging combined with armor. Only then I won, and that was on my 2nd or 3rd attempt. The graphics are, as you can see, nice pixel art. I was pleasantly surprised by the fact that when you change any part of your equipment, the look is also reflected on your character. I didn't expect such detail, especially since it is not a common practice. In my opinion, the game has one negative aspect, which is especially noticeable at the very beginning. I am referring to the slow unlocking of new things. When you die, you only get a little bit of experience for your character, so in order to level up, you have to die several times, and the reward is free skills added to overall pool. The result is that even if, for example, I completed half of the map and died, I got practically nothing, and I was left with a feeling of harsh reality that doesn't reward failure. I missed some small element, some mini stats improvements straight out of roguelike bullet hell games, where for the currency we earn, we can unlock an additional 5 health points, increase damage by 1, and so on. Such small things to give a sense of progress despite failure. Perhaps the game would then become too easy, but at the same time, there could be an option to increase the difficulty level, for example by adding another stage, extending our journey. I rate the game 4 out of 5. The game costs $10 on Steam without any discounts. For that price, the game seems okay. I had fun playing it, and I am not disappointed. I think the value for money is alright. The execution itself doesn't raise any concerns for me either. It's just a good little game to spend a few evenings with, playing around with builds and slowly discovering new things. That's all for tonight. See you next time. Be well.